Hello, this is Patrick, one of the Wild Guys. This is my YouTube intro with some of the Wild Guys. We'll be canoeing and rafting rivers and lakes and even out in the Pacific Ocean, in the Northwest Territories, the Yukon and British Columbia. It's the Wild Guys back again, 1999, Murtle Lake, another canoe trip, the West Arm. Thank you very much for coming along with us. Today it is going to be the West Arm, lots of excitement, and this is going to be the map that you will follow to get to Blue River, then out to Murtle Lake, and the excitement begins. Soon we're going to be leaving Kelowna and traveling up to Murtle Lake. Some friends of ours are also coming to join us in Murtle Lake. They're from Vancouver and also out of Victoria. You're going to see Murtle Lake. The one that goes straight up is the North Arm. The one to your left is the West Arm. We're doing the West Arm right now. And then in 2006, we're doing another one of the North Arm. So watch for that trip as well. This is my wife. I call her
Kuharica.
in Croatian.
That means a good chef. So we got breakfast coming. We're just about to head out today to Murtle Lake. I hear they got really big mosquitoes out there. I sure hope those bananas will attract them. We'll try anyways.
Next, you're going to see us driving down the highway out to Clearwater. The trip is on. We're looking forward to this one as well. These are the same pots and pans that we had on the Yukon trip, but we got a new roll of TP. Well, we're off to Murtle Lake. Going to Clearwater first. I see a truck just pulled up. That's Bob. I guess they're ready to go.
Hey, I think that's our next canoeist. Hi, Bob. Huh? Okay. There's the Jim McAllister's truck, and they got some boating equipment on the top and food in there. And I think, by golly, I think they went to Tim Hortons here. Yeah, it's Tim Hortons. First stop on this rugged trip. Hey, what's that on? What is that we got? Well, here comes Jim, a new addition to our crew this year. Welcome aboard there, Jim. Well, there's Mark Baylor's rig. He's got the other canoe on it.
Now, in my research, I heard that fruit and bananas will attract mosquitoes when you're out there. So I told everybody to eat lots of bananas and they would not have any mosquitoes. That seemed like a fun thing to do at the time. Anyways, they didn't buy into my deal. I guess they had some experiences with me before. That's Jim ahead of us with the blue truck. You'll notice he's got some canoes and maybe a kayak on top, and he's also got some food there, so we're going to keep him in focus, make sure we don't lose him. We're just coming into Kamloops now, and soon we'll be moving on and going over towards Barrier and then up to our turnoff where we're going to be going into Murtle Lake.
Well, here we are in Barrier. Now, Mark, when he said they were going to get gas here, thought they were going to the pub, but really it was for the vehicle. Sorry, Mark, we'll get some gas later on. Well, we stopped for something to eat. We were pretty hungry, so there's the menu. I'm going to check and see what John orders. It should be coming here in a minute. Oh, here comes dinner.
Yeah, dinner.
Dinner. Uh-huh. Let's see who dives into that first.
Well, this is 6 of our crew member here. Jim, John, Bob, Bill, Mark. Oh, and who's the other one? Oh, that's me, Patrick. And we're going to get 3 more from Victoria coming.
Well, they cleaned up on dinner.
No.
More dinner?
Dessert.
We're getting close to Blue River, but we stopped in for a little bit of refreshment. We're going to go to Blue River now and get our wheels before we head out to Myrtle Lagoon. I guess dinner's just about over because the guys are gradually coming out and getting in their vehicle to carry on the trip. We're back on the road again, and we're heading for Blue River. Actually, we're very close to Blue River, only about 8 kilometers from Blue River. It's raining. Not supposed to be raining on Billy's holidays.
Okay, there's Bob. Hi, Bob.
Hey, Patsy.
Yeah, we are in our, where we're launching off from, eh? This is our spot. We're going to pick up our canoe and our wheels and stuff like that.
Pick up a few mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes? Yeah, a couple mosquitoes. Okay. Okay, this is the official letterhead for our trip. Blue River Wilderness Outfitting. Boy, sounds exciting, eh? Ouch, mosquitoes, yeah. Oh, hi, Mark. He's waving. Okay, this is the spot we're picking up the canoes. We got a coffee, we're sitting. Mark's still putting on mosquito dope. He expects a real attack tonight, I think.
What?
I told him about the bananas, but he wouldn't listen. Well, we expect this to be the most important liquid ingredient that we're going to have for the whole journey, so we want to take a quick look at it before we take off.
Well, we met the rest of our crew. There's Glenn Tadson, Steve Mullen, and Peter Cadges. We got a full crew now, and we're on our way. This is Peter shaking. Now you're going to see Steve. Pretty soon you'll see Glenn. They're the 3 guys from Victoria. Watch out for these guys on our trip, eh? They're pretty wild.
I'd really like to be able to help out Bob, but I got to run this camera.
Well, there's the sign. We're on the right road. We'll be there soon. Our vehicles are left in the parking lot here, and we take our canoes on these wheels and roll them down to Murtle Lagoon. Murtle Lagoon is 2.5 kilometers from the parking lot. There we take our wheels off and get in our canoes and head over to Myrtle Lake, 1.5 kilometers. At Myrtle Lake, there's a campsite right close by.
In goes our supplies.
We are just about ready to push our canoes down to Myrtle Lagoon.
Okay, here comes the Victoria crew.
That's great. We're going to have more pushers to go the 2.5 kilometers down. We're just getting everything all loaded up. We're going to be off in a few minutes. I better get them in this video right away. I wonder how they'll respond to that. Steve and Peter are from Victoria. Looks like there's going to be some really good material we'll be able to get from those two. You see them talking, they're getting ready to pose for the camera. I can see this one coming right away. In 1939, a forest ranger near Clearwater, name was Bill Noble, recommended a park, and on November 28, 1939, Gray passed an order in council creating a huge park. His nickname was Wells, so there comes the name Wells Gray. The earliest history is of the First Nations in the area. The Europeans came long after, and you could see the artifacts of their hunting, trapping, and fishing, and their gathering that took place for their survival. Come and discover one of the most unique ecosystems in all British Columbia. You can explore all 5,250 square kilometers. Wells Gray Park is in the heartland or the center of British Columbia. John Ray and the Majerus family were homesteaders. This is the Majerus' home, what's left of it. John Ray, I don't have any photos of what's left of their dwellings, going back to nature. The search for gold is what draw many to the North Thompson, so they'll be able to get rich. The famous Hemlicon Falls is not far off the road, and is the 4th largest falls in Canada. We talk about melting glaciers today, but approximately 10,000 years ago, at the end of the Ice Age, melting glaciers caused rivers to flow down the vent holes onto the lava, causing massive volcanoes. And the last eruption was about 400 years ago. The molten lava is what has caused all the waterfalls and all the peaks and hollows that's in the area. But it's certainly made it a beautiful place to visit. Oh, we're on a trip to Myrtle Lake. I forgot about that. I guess we better get back to our trip onto the Myrtle West Arm. We, or I guess I should say they, are pulling the canoes and all our supplies down to Myrtle Lagoon. There we're going to be able to get into the water and travel over to Myrtle Lake. That's where we're going to get started off.
Not that heavy.
Hi,
Pat.
canoers. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we're pretty strong.
I believe we have a kayaker coming down here, and we got the same situation. Hello there. Is this Jim?
Those guys are making pretty good time. I guess they're going to do all right.
Is that right? Oh, this is John. Hi, John. Aren't you supposed to have that in the water?
What?
Aren't you supposed to have that in the water?
Oh, yeah, we'll soon enough.
Pretty nice looking rig you got there. What's the compass for?
That's for finding direction.
Oh, here comes somebody else. I don't know who that is. I'll pick him up in a minute. That looks like Mark and Bob. Is that Mark and Bob?
That's it? That's the Mark and Bob show.
Are you leading the way, John?
It's the Mark and Bob show.
They're all pulling these canoes. They look pretty heavy. I would have liked to have been able to do that
There's
too.
a lot of good food in this canoe.
Oh, look at that.
Strange wildlife around here.
Yeah. Well, we're short one canoe. I really don't know what happened to those. Those guys from Victoria, they're always just a little bit behind. Anyways, we won't go too hard on them. They look bigger than me. Boy, just when I was going to give up, I think them Victoria crews coming. Whoop, they've stopped. I think they're missing a pusher or a puller. I don't know who that would be. Yeah.
Get down here and push, never mind the camera.
Okay, coming.
We just come into Myrtle Lake. I'm going to show you a number of the campsites that we either went in and looked at or we stayed in. But the campsites have very good facilities. It didn't take long for us to find out that Myrtle Lake was going to be a good lake for fishing in. But we had lots of food, but we'd have a few fish as well. You should see some nice sunsets. We had seen some. And these continue on, just showing you some of the places that we went to. And then we're going to be able to continue on with our trip down the west arm of Myrtle Lake. As I show you more scenes on Myrtle Lake, I wanted to mention that probably of all of our canoe trips, the west arm of Myrtle Lake, we hit wind, surprisingly come up very fast, and the actual waves pretty well threw us right off the lake. And you'll see more of this later down the video. Be careful on these large lakes. I respect them much more than the rivers. They can be very dangerous. Our first night on Myrtle Lake, in behind our campsite, we had a moose feeding. It was kind of late and getting very dark, but we did get to see him as he was feeding behind us. In our video ahead, you'll see the moose that we've been talking about. We're getting to the end of the prints, and we'll be going back onto our video as we make the trip.
Just launching some of the boats and that now. Hurrying to get things done into our campsite before night, so John can cook us dinner.
On the trip here.
We had to rush into the water. We couldn't get any pictures there,
Jumping an alligator back.
but we now are in the water.
Never mind.
Shooting into the sun.
Cecil.
This is a tough job when somebody else has got a paddle, but anyway, there's somebody ahead of us.
All right.
Okay, you're gonna have to go harder. There's a guy still ahead of us here.
I'm gonna have to go harder.
This is me, Glenn. Hey, that's a pretty nice hat you got. That's a nice hat.
Between those two and the sandbar? And the sandbar.
It looks like Steve behind you.
Hey?
Well, we're gradually getting the camp together. Don't have a lot of time to help out, but
I don't have a lot of time to help out.
I hear a voice over here.
I don't mind it on the land, but when suddenly the canoe is coming to a halt because Cecil's in.
You might want to just stay there, Pat. We've worked with you before.
For the fly, okay.
Here's our Boy Scout. He's lighting the fire for us. I don't see any fire, but there's some smoke there. But they say where there's smoke, there's fire.
How many civil servants does it take to put on a fly?
Bob and Bill putting on a fly.
Okay, Peter, there's a.
Okay, this is we put our canoes in here. You'll notice, one kayak. Here's our solar powered cooler. What we got is the solar panel facing the sun. And it's picking up the sun rays. putting in electricity, pumping it in, running a fan. We have a heat exchanger in there. And we have a small pump, and we're running off lake water. The pump hoses under the rock there. Okay, it's going to be a beautiful night. And everybody's working hard here. And I'm just trying to get a few shots. It looks like there's some more people down the lake. Ways down there, you might not see him. I got to zoom in. I don't want to waste my battery, so we'll leave that for down another time. Well, the fire did start. Looks like it's going to go all right. Actually, the sun is setting on our first night. I've got to be pretty quiet. A fish just jumped there. See that? And I'm going to zoom out. We have some ducks or loons. I'm not sure exactly what it is. See them little fellows there? There they go. Yeah, the big one is out there somewhere. Just under the water at the moment. There it is. Yeah, that's a loon. The men are around the camp right now, just chatting away and talking about old times. I guess it takes old people to talk about old times, hey?
They fit the bill for that, I guess.
Yeah, you can go in that bag. I don't know whose bag that is, but you go ahead in there. Hey, not that one. That was mine. Hey. Not in that one.
I hear some noise from the marsh behind us, the mosquito marsh.
Well, I'm taking a picture of some moose ears, just simply because I don't know if we're going to get to see the moose, so that's his ears. I'm getting a full head there now. I see a moose head. There he looks a little more.
Sounds like a friendly moose.
Well, we landed after part of a day paddling. Everybody's really chipper and happy right now. A lot of laughter and everything. Digging into the deals, doing some eating. Run into a few mosquitoes. This is our sort of campsite, if we have to have a campsite. There's somebody eating a carrot down here. Hi, Jim.
This is our second day, and we're venturing down the west arm of Myrtle Lake.
Bill is checking out something in a food bag there. Yeah. How far did we travel?
About 100 miles. Maybe 200 miles.
This is what's left of happy hour.
The wild guys aren't so wild. They're stretching the mileage here a wee bit. It wasn't that far.
Up there's a tree there. Gotta go around the tree. Just like I might stumble. Yeah. One more happy, and then we got a guy down there. He's getting ready to go fishing. Just behind our camp, we have our own private mosquito farm, and this is where we're hatching them right out here. Quite a few of them here. Just a shot around the lake. That's where we come from, and you can't see. We went around the corner.
We're looking down the north arm, but we'll be turning left up ahead and heading down the west arm.
Oh, we got a bite. We got a bite. There's one on right now. Yep, that's a big one.
Len is our fisherman. He's always keeps us in fish to eat.
Well, we got a wee bit of rain, but everybody's still happy. Oh.
We're getting some rain, but at least that slows down the mosquitoes from chewing on us.
I don't know why this camera was all the way zoomed in when I got it, but...
The Myrtle Lake is known for rain from time to time, and we hit some, and we're going to hit some more before the trip is over. Walking into McDougall Falls, it became apparent that they do get a fair amount of rain. It looked like a rainforest, very giant cedar, both growing and laying down as we went in.
That's our fishing poles. We got some fish. How many fish we get? 7 fish? 6 fish? 9 fish.
Not Western Samoa, not U.S. Samoa, not Western Samoa. Because he came back with
And that's our grand poobah right there. He's dressed up pretty swanky.
beautiful island.
Little smoke. Hi, Bill. We got you zoomed in here. In your special duds.
You should fly down and stay with him for a couple
Well, but Canada World Youth doesn't
Spec toggles.
I mean, they are totally like,
Hi.
none of those kids who are involved in that program are in touch with their families. I mean, other than by mail or phone or whatever. But no, there's none of that.
No,
we thought
we thought we could fly out.
Telling
maybe
stories.
there and
Listen
maybe
to that.
go on to Australia together because he's already partway there. But
We
they're
heard a few stories.
well, they're like they have to return him to Canada. Their liability on the program
They don't want theirs
doesn't
involved.
end until he's back here.
Yeah.
But it sure will be neat.
Smoke getting in your eyes?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, it's our second morning. A bit of rain last night. Everybody seemed to sleep well though. Steve did a lot of snoring, but I guess some snore. Anyways, I'll just take a quick peek around. Look at how still the water is. Down there to our right is where we're camping. I'll be down there in a minute. Oh, here comes somebody. Oh, that looks like Steve. He's the guy that snored last night. Wasn't it you that was snoring, Steve?
Let me tell you about the Harmony triplets. Pat, Glenn, and Cadges. The Harmony triplets. First Cadges fell asleep. Nice soft little tenor. Sawing away. Then Pat, more like the percussion section.
Me?
And then Tadson, the deep bass.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, you guys are good. Went on for hours. Probably all night. Eventually fell asleep from exhaustion.
Yeah. Oh well.
What did I wake up to this morning? Little early morning harmony.
Oh, is that right? Well, okay. Thanks anyways for that, Steve.
That's funny because as soon as my head hit the pillow or whatever it was that I had for a pillow, I went to sleep. I missed out on that there harmony that Steve was talking about last night. That would have been good to hear. I love the sounds out on the lakes early in the morning. Real silence. Just sit back and listen and enjoy it. You'll never get tired of
I
it.
see a moose over there last night. It's actually a fairly big bull moose. We'll be just to the left of here. I'll pull over there in a minute. There's some loons.
Don't let life pass you by. These are wonderful experiences and enjoying every minute of it.
Just wanted to get you to hear the loons. So we've got a little bit of both here in this camp. On one hand, the loons, hear 'em. And then on the other hand, we have the loonies.
Always make sure you have a fun on a trip like this.
Well, for those faint at heart, we have bear stashes. There we go. And that's the bear stash. We've taken our stuff down this morning.
We're going to be moving on.
Bob is out checking for moose this morning. He's just to the left of those trees there. He's in that little bay. Should be coming out fairly soon.
I want to thank the Parks Branch for putting in these facilities for us. It's always nice to be able to go in and sit down for a little while and have a rest. Just having our famous coffee, our campfire coffee, and having a chat before the day goes by. It's a beautiful part of the day. Quite enjoyed it.
We're just out on Murtle Lake this morning, heading for the falls. They call Myrtle Falls, Bill? Are these Myrtle Falls we're going to? Muck something Falls.
McDougal Falls.
McDougal Falls we're going to.
The McDougall Falls were named after Pete McDougall, a homesteader in the Clearwater River Valley from 1913 to 1936. But it was discovered by Joseph Hunter, a surveyor on the CPR. The gold rush and the CPR has brought many from Europe to Canada and has helped to develop our history. I believe this was a trailhead to McDougall Falls, so you're going to be up in McDougall Falls fairly soon. A great trip for all of us. I didn't get any pictures on the way in, but it was a beautiful rainforest and very large cedar trees.
Just step back.
Okay, yeah, can you guys just move back a wee bit? Okay.
Well, I tried to get the Wild Guys to step back a little further, but they were on the cliff and they wouldn't listen to me, but I just thought I would get them a little bit wet, but that didn't turn out very well. I just turned the sound of the water down a little bit so I'm able to talk to you. Mind you, the water might sound better. The last I seen when I was doing some research, that's in the Myrtle Park, there was 41 waterfalls. Hope that's accurate. Turn off your TV and get out in the back 40. We live in a wonderful country with a lot to see and experience, and soon we'll be past our past due date. Bob looks kind of intrigued with the falls.
Hi, Bob.
Bob can't hear me. The roar of the falls is deafening. Out of the 41 falls in Wells Gray Park, we'll get to see the McDougall Falls. This one here. There is so much more that we could see here. We'll be coming back and doing the North Arm and hopefully covering some more falls the next trip. Coming in, it was like a rainforest, very gigantic, big cedar and other trees. Some of the cedar was down and it was hollow like most old cedar. One was so high that it had to be cut out for the trail to go through. There was a hole in there, and one of the wild guys hid in the hole. Now just before that we seen some grizzly sign. Well, when the other wild guys walked through by the hole in the cedar, there was a hand reached out and grabbed him by the leg. I don't know who did that. I was pretty careful that there was no payback time coming after that.
Well, from behind the shadow of that tree, move to your left.
Happy hour's taken today.
Yeah? Far fucking out.
We're gonna have a shower here, eh? Well, Glenn, we miss you. I'm sure the camp is being in good shape when we get home. We're thinking about you. So we're gonna bring you this view home.
We're going to be heading back out now, and we'll be going through the rainforest. I didn't get a picture of a lot of the big trees, but you'll be able to see very soon the type of the wilderness that we come through. A lot of large cedar, and many of them way larger than these. They look very small compared to the other ones that we walked by. Notice the McDougall Falls sign. It's been chewed on the top. That's a porcupine. They love to eat plywood. So if you build yourself a cabin out in the bush and it's plywood, and you come back, you might find it's been all eaten by the old porcupines. The guys are heading back out now on the McDougall Falls Trail.
Over, Glenn. Tied to the shore.
So, Mark, I guess that wet shoe doesn't matter anymore.
No, the wet shoe doesn't matter, no.
Oh, well, we got you on
How's the
film.
water?
Actually, it's not bad. I got a piss. I must have just pissed my pants.
We're back from the McDougall Falls, and we are now out on the west arm of the Myrtle Lake. Oops, and Mark is in the lake.
Well, our camp is getting better.
You want to clean up your mess there, Peter?
Oh, okay.
We got benches to sit on now.
It's time for Mark to get all dried out, and we're having some nice hot coffee here and a little bit to eat, and we'll be moving on before too long.
Yeah, like about 7
Oh, there's a spider hanging from that tree.
Fatty thing.
Whew, it's a big looking mean one. Now Bill is going to give us a lesson in fly fishing. So we're all watching here. There he goes. Whoop. He's going to catch him behind him and in front of him.
A little slower, Billy. A little slower. A little slower stroke, Bill.
He's getting some instructions now. They said a little slower.
You don't last longer.
Here comes Bob. His first time in a kayak. You doing pretty good? Hi, Bob.
Our wilderness can be very enjoyable and satisfying.
Well, we're back on. Bill actually has got one. It's a big one. You got one on, have you? Bill?
On his shirt, yeah.
Oh,
He caught his shirt.
I'd throw it away. Throw it back.
Yeah, throw that shirt away.
Well, we missed Bill going out to get the water and it was a little tippy. I was hoping for a spill here, but nothing happened. Oh no, not I wasn't hoping for one, but just thought maybe there might be one. Okay, this is a special island. We just had a special light on there a minute ago, but it's gone. It's history. It's toast. Yeah, it looks just like an ordinary island right now. Boy, the north part sure looks clear up there.
This is Jim McAllister out of Victoria. He's with the search and rescue, so we shouldn't get lost. Jim was a great addition to our Wild Guys Canoe team. I'm going to have to quit videoing because I see that spaghetti and spaghetti sauce is going pretty fast.
You're doing all right.
That spaghetti is really long.
Okay, it is.
It's long spaghetti. That's the food line.
And looking through this camera, I noticed I'm not in it.
Patty whack.
Yeah.
Plate.
Yeah, okay, I'm just getting somebody's.
We had a number of different pasta dishes. It's easy to keep and lightweight.
This is where you get all the sauce.
Oh,
Looks good. Eh? You don't have a lot of sauce there, do you?
oh, we're kind of running low a little bit.
Oh, there.
It's very
Well,
good.
let's see you go with that one.
Oh, the rain's coming.
Is it good?
Good.
Is that one good?
That one's good.
Okay.
That wine's good. See how clear that wine is?
It is
You
good. It's
see
kind
that?
of pinkish. Must be
Not
a,
a bit of sediment in that.
what do you call that, a
wine is?
rosé or something? Okay, a day in the wilderness. You guys looking forward to tonight's cabin?
Yeah, we're gonna sandbox in here.
Is that right? Oh, that's good. We won't have to go out at night then.
There was so much history that we've seen on these river and lake trips, but it's going to leave us soon.
Those insensitive guys just walked right by this beautiful, beautiful flower. So I'm going to take a picture of it, take it home. I haven't seen one like that before. I think it must be a gardenia bush.
Just kidding. Don't know what a gardenia bush is.
He's heading out of sight. They're going to leave me behind. They don't care if the bear gets me or not. So there you go.
Back in downtown Smith, near Lesser Slave Lake, we used to call these chicken. Out here, there's about 1,000 different names for them. But anyways, to me, they're just a wild chicken, but they're good eating. There's nothing better than seeing the wild animals out in their habitat. Just a natural event. He's hard to see in the undergrowth, so we'll leave this chicken alone and we'll carry on.
There we got a loon. We walked in 4 kilometers to see this loon. Hi, loon. Hi, loon.
Where we're at, Pat.
Huh?
Tell them where we are.
Oh, we're at Anderson Lake.
We took many trails in to be able to see the various different lakes and rivers and falls. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because we know at our age we're not going to be back. Thanks to the Parks Branch, they made all this possible. Of all the things that we spend our tax dollars on, there's nothing more important than putting a little more in the pot for the Parks Branch, because they allow us to see so much of the beauty of our country that we would otherwise never see.
Oh, looks awful slippery. That water's awful cold.
We're going in the canoes out in the middle of Murtle Lake. We got distracted out in the middle of the lake. Never do that. The wind come up and we were in trouble. We paddled as fast as we could, but it wasn't fast enough. We got hit by some big waves before we got off the lake.
How was it? Getting a little rough?
I'll tell you. You're really lucky.
Oh, we got another one over here.
Huh?
How you doing, John?
Huh?
How you doing?
Good wind flow, Pat.
I gotta get you guys in one of my little house here too.
We didn't know how long the storm was going to last, but there was no way we could go out in the water the way it was. So we had to build ourselves a shelter to keep us out of the pouring rain. But we were able to get out on the water again before darkness. We're the Wild Guys, and we're gonna make this work out for us. I guess you say old Wild Guys.
What do you think of that little house there, John?
Very cozy.
I'll just shoot out here, get a few of the waves.
We're gonna make a run for it and see if we can get back to our campsite.
Well, we did get back on the water, and we got back out again, and so it's
Trying to dance in this little cabin.
going to be a nice last night for the Victoria folks. Oh, you hear a noise behind me?
You could get real close.
Yeah. So we wrote him a letter after it.
It's a bit smoky here sometimes.
To assist
We just had a, what do you call a tuna helper, and I think Bob caught a fish. Did you catch a fish for us, Bob, tonight?
Oh yeah.
Fish for supper.
Can you imagine when we're talking to our grandkids while we're sitting in our rocking chair and we have aches in our joints? The story about this trip in the lake is going to be getting bigger and bigger all the time. Plus the waves are going to get higher from that storm as well. Some of our Wild Guys got to go home now.
Well, the boys from Victoria are leaving us. Bye, boys. Yeah.
Some of us have to go
Okay.
to work.
Is that right?
We won't be able to make smart remarks about them anymore. They're making a few payback shots to us as they're leaving, heading back to their home in Victoria. It was a great crew, and we had an awful lot of fun. Oh, I think I can sneak one more in.
You guys need a strategic plan, don't you?
Now that the Victoria crew are gone, we're going to have to clean up and leave pretty soon as well.
Okay, go back to bed now, Pat.
Okay.
The boys are good at getting everything loaded.
Well, the water part of the journey is over, except for Bob. He's got about 10 feet to go. And we're now unloading our canoes and kayak and hauling them out of the water. There goes Billy with the load. There's the wheels. The kayak down there somewhere. There it is. He stopped for a rest. There's Billy ready to go down the hill. Bob's backing him up. And Mark's ready to go. You don't have nobody on the front of his. Huh?
The Wild Guys are getting the canoes back out to the parking lot.
Well, we're out now. That's Jim over there. If you hear somebody puffing, it's not me. There's John. Got his kayak out. Still got wheels on it. We're just gradually unloading. My pants are getting dry. Looks good for the trip home. Hi, Bob. This is the spot we camped. Or no, camped. Dumped her. Left our vehicle. There's the John. And there's Mark. There's the guy that we rent. He looks after the wheels and some of the canoes.
Before we leave, one look back at Murtle Lake. In 2001, we're doing the Nations Lake, and it's right next to the Sawtooth Mountain. And I really enjoyed this trip. There was lakes and then rivers in between. You could travel a little bit of portaging, but it was a wonderful trip. I know I've told you about many of them. It was a great trip. But for me, I'm not sure why, but it was a very special trip. Nations Lake was on the Arctic side, so make sure you join the Wild Guys as we do the Nations Lakes. It'll be coming up very soon. While we slept, we had caribou come right through our camp, and one night we had a moose that was splashing in the water next to us right outside. There was just something special about this trip. Here we're talking to family and friends about our trip on Murtle Lake and the storm, and we're making the story bigger. Waves are getting bigger. The storm is getting greater. And imagine when we talk to our grandkids, that's going to be one big storm. We want to thank our family and friends for putting this event on for us and welcome us home. It was a great trip. We'll see you on our next canoe trip. We'll be doing Nympho Lake in 2000. Catch you later. So watch for Patrick here as he do the rest of our canoe trips in the Northwest Territory, the Yukon, the Pacific Ocean, and across different lakes and rivers in British Columbia. Catch you later.